So next topic in Java is arrays in Java. So as we know that arrays plays very important role when we want to declare some group of variables which are belongs to similar kind of data type, right? And they store, say I cannot declare 100 variables and I cannot remember all the 100 variables names, right? So instead of that, we have the option called as arrays in Java, right? So where it is going to store a fixed size sequential collection of elements of the same type. That means suppose I am going to give a of say 20 elements, right? So it is a fixed size, you cannot change it. Okay, you can declare only 20 variables. That is a of which arrays always starts with a index. Their array variables are also called as index variables, right? So when you are going to use this index variable, they are identified by a particular index. That is a, so arrays always starts with the index 0. Okay, starts with the index 0, and all the elements, suppose you are going to declare array of 100, right? So all the array variables are belongs to the same integer. Suppose if you are going to give a data type as a int, all the 100 elements belongs to integer data type. Okay, and these arrays can store the single value only, not like objects. Objects means they can store, array of objects if you are going to use, they can store multiple values. Array is a the static, I can say static. That means during the compilation the array memory space is allocated for each variable of the array declaration. Okay, and you must specify the type of the array the variable can reference. That is, we have to say that depending upon the type of the problem, we are going to declare an array, what kind of array it is. Okay. So syntax for declaring an array variable is, you have to specify the data type, then within the square bracket you have to give a array reference variable. You have to specify the name of the variable. That is one method. Or you can use the same method as we have used in the C and C++. That is a data type space, and you have to give the name of the variable, and you have to give the square bracket. Within the square bracket you need to specify what will be the size of the approximately. Suppose say in your class some I want to find the sum of 10 numbers, right? So I can give array variable name square brackets 10. Okay, that means what, I can use 10 array variables, right? 10 array variables is nothing but from a of 0. As I told, array always starts with a 0 index and it ends with a -1. Number of elements -1, n -1. So it will be a of 9 if it is a 10. Okay. Example, you see the following code are example for this syntax. Int mylist within the square bracket, right? So you can create an array by using the new operator with the following syntax. Say for example, array variable name is equal to new is a operator. It is a dynamic memory allocation operator we call in C++, okay, and Java. Data type, and you have to specify the what will be the array size. You have to specify array size must always be an integer value, because you can specify only 10 elements, 20 elements, 100 elements. I cannot specify 5.5 elements or 10.6 elements, right? So you have to specify the array size as an integer. This above the statement array reference variable is equal to need data type array size is going to do two kinds of things. One is it creates array using the new data type with the array size. Array size is, you may be giving 10, 20, 100, 50 like that, or 200,000, but it must be a some known value, right? Okay, it will create that much memory space for each variable. It assigns a reference of the newly created array to the variable array reference variable. It always assigns the reference of a newly created array to the variable array reference. Declaring an array variable, creating an array, and assigning the references of the array to the variable can be combined in one statement like this. We can create, we can assign, the array references variables in a in one statement also. Data type, give the square brackets, then you give the array reference variable is equal to new data type, then within the square bracket you have to specify the array size. That is one way where we are going to do both the things, declaration of the array variable, creating an array and assigning the reference of array to a variable with a new operator in a combined one statement. Like this also I can give. Okay. Alternatively, you can create an array as follows also, right? Like this. Data type, you have to give the square brackets. It is a must in arrays because without square brackets, it not does not allow any programmer to define the size of the array, right? Then the so array elements are accessed through the index. As I told that the index is representation of the array variable. Array indices are zero based because it starts with a zero. That is, they start from 0 to array reference variable length minus 1. Suppose I am going to give n is equal to 10. So that is a length will be is equal to 10. So n minus 1, that is a n minus 1 will be your arrays last element which we are going to store. Okay. So it is going to store the values from 0 to 9. So when 0 is included, 9 plus 1 will be 10 elements. These following features represents, say for example, I am creating a mylist array and all the elements are of in double values, right? So I am going to store double kind of data type in a arrays. So what I will do, I am going to declare a data type as a double. Okay. Then I am going to declare a double data type 0 to 9, right? My list of 0, so my list is a reference, right? Array reference variable. Okay. And my list of 0 will store the element or the number which you are going to enter as a first element. That is going to store it in the my list, right? Second number will be in the index 1 and third number will be in the 3 2, fourth number will be in the 3, like this up to the last element will be the 9 element. Okay. So now this is about how we are going to assign some constant values, or whenever we are going to input the data, how these arrays will going to store the data will be like this. Okay. And processing arrays. When processing array elements, we often use either for loop or for each loop. So processing, whenever we are going to work on a arrays, so it is a group of elements. We need to repeat it, right? So it is going to use the processing arrays elements. We often use either for loop or for each loop because all the elements in an array are of same type and size of the array is already known to us. Okay. For example, we take one example here. So here is a complete example which we are going to show that array in implementation of the Java program, how we are going to create and initialize and process arrays. Okay. Public class, so we are going to work on the arrays. That's why it is given a test array as an example. That is a file name or the class name, right? Public static void main string of arguments double. See, I'm assigning the I'm creating and assigning some constant values with a square bracket 1.9 comma 2.9 comma 3.4 comma 3.5. So these are the 4 elements. What I am doing, I am printing all the array elements. For int is equal to 0, I is less than mylist dot length I plus plus. Okay. System dot out dot println mylist I plus means we are giving I plus means after printing the present value, it has to move on to the next value. okay, plus we are going to print the value of that location. So that index, sorry, not location, that index. When I am going to add all the elements, adding all the elements, right, double space total is equal to 0. I'll take one more for loop. For reading one for loop in required, because we have to store all the elements in a array, right. Then we are going to use uh, another for loop to find the total of the adding of all the elements of an array. So we take a total plus is equal to. So total plus is equal to is an assignment operator which we are already familiar in a C and C++, right? Suppose I am going to give plus is equal to means plus is equal to is a assignment operator, right? We use that a total is equal to total plus array, my list of 0, my list of 1, my list of 2, like that we are going to keep on giving the value. My list of I means it is going to take a particular index. Well, my list of 0 is the first element, my list of 1 is the second element, my list of 2 is the third element, like that. Okay, it is going to take the value. Total plus is equal to my list of 5. Then end. System dot out dot println. So I want to print the total value, addition of all the array elements. Okay, total is equal to plus total. Plus total, where we are going to print what is the value totally we got. Okay, another program where we are going to find the largest of the array elements. Say whatever the numbers we are going given, we are going to find the largest among all the numbers, right? So largest number is nothing but the number which we are going to compare with the first with the second, second with the third, whichever the one is the largest, that is going to store it as a large, and keeping that as a the reference, and we are keep on comparing all the numbers in a group of array, right? So what happens is double max is equal to my list of 0. So we are assuming that first element is the largest, right? When you are going to assign the, assuming that first element is the largest, right? So we are assigning that my list of 0 will be the large or the maximum and large, whichever the word it is easy for you to remember, you can give it, no problem. Okay, it is a variable. Okay, you can give any, but you have to follow the rules whenever you are going to name a variable. Okay, now so you, since you are already assigned the 0 as a maximum number, and your for loop starts with the next number, you have to compare the 0th element with the next element, right? So my list dot length I plus plus, we are going to use a for loop again, once again. If my list of I is greater than max, that is the first element is max is storing the 0th element, first element, and 1 is a second element. So 1 is going to be compared with the 0th element, then max is equal to my list of 5. It is going to be, if that is a true, condition is true, if the second number is greater than first number, then it is going to assign that is a maximum, and it is going to store. Again, it is going to take that as a reference, and it is going to compare with the next number. Say for example, what numbers you have stored here, what numbers we have stored here is, say number is 1.9, 2.9 is greater than 1. What it does is it is going to assign 2.9 as a maximum. So it leaves, it erases the 1.9. So your max value will be 2.9. Again, this 2.9 is compared with the next number, that is 3.4 is greater than 2.9. Yes, condition is true. When it is condition is true, it again it assigns 3.4 as a maximum. Okay, then again it is going to compare with the 3.5 is greater than the 3.4. Yes, the condition is true, it assigns a 3.5 as a maximum value. Okay, then the whichever one is a maximum, that value is going to be stored in the max, and finally final outcome is what we need to print the which is a maximum value in the array. Okay. Now system.out.println max is plus max. Okay. We are going to print the maximum value with the println statement. Okay. Now this would produce the following result: 1.9, 2.9, 3.4, 3.5. Total is addition of the element, all the elements will be 11.7, right? And the maximum is among these numbers, which is the largest number. 3.5 will be the maximum number or the largest number. So we are going to print the total is 11.7, maximum element is 3.5. Okay. Next we'll take a for each loop. JDK 1.5 introduced a new for loop known as a for each loop or enhanced for loop. So this loop is not available in the this one. What in a C and C++, right? It is a step by step for each loop is a step by step taking of the value, right? So it is this option is not available in the C and C++. JDK introduces a new for loop known as a for each loop or enhanced for loop, which enables you to traverse the complete array sequentially without using an index variable. So in C and C++, whenever we want to visit a particular index variable, we have to specify 0, 1, 2, 3 like this, right? So here what happens in sequence, in sequential order. So this is in sequential order. This array is going to be um, is going to read the variable sequentially one after the another. So here in randomly I could not pick a particular index variable like specifying a of 10 or a of 9 like this. So whenever you want to access a of 9, you have to go from the 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9 only. Okay, like this. It enables to traverse the complete array sequentially. That is very, very important without using an index. So you need not to specify the index, right? Automatically one after the other that is going to store or read all the values. Right? How to implement that program in the example Java program is where this following code displays all the elements of the array my list. Say public class test array. This is also test array, and we are going to use a public static void to start our main program. And after the main program, I am assigning the all the constant values to a my list, right? And now see for double element colon my list. I am not specified any index in the for loop, right? So like initialization expression is not there, conditional expression is not there. Okay, then the loop progress expression is also not there. Okay, what I am doing, double for double element colon my list. Okay, so I am not using any index, but it is keep on printing all the element in sequence. That is, it starts from 0 and ends with the 1, 2, 3. Okay, 4 elements are there. So 4 minus 1 will be 3. So it is going to print 0 to 3 elements, right? See now, this would produce system.out.println element. If you give, it's keep on printing all the elements in sequence. So first element is 1.9, second element is 2.9, third is 3.4, and fourth is 3.5. Okay, this is how this is going to work. That is the for each loop is going to work in the for each loop is going to work in this what I can say that enhanced for loop we call. So in Java also you have different kinds of arrays. That is a one dimensional array, two-dimensional arrays and multi-dimensional arrays also, right? So one-dimensional arrays, as you people know, that is the declaration of either the elements will be read in the vertical or in the horizontal, right? So we call that is the one dimensional array, which is having a pair of square brackets. Okay, so if we have the applications of this single dimensional array is searching, sorting. So for searching, sorting and all, we are going to use some array group of array elements to read in. Okay, that is called as the single dimensional arrays. And two-dimensional arrays, we know that when we want to represent the elements in row wise as well as a column wise, right? For example, matrices, right? So 1 comma 1 means that is our first row and first column element, right? So 1 comma 2 is a first row, second column, like that. 1 comma n means that is the first row, n number of elements present in a particular row. Okay, so when we want to represent that kind of arrays, when we want to represent a two-dimensional arrays, right, we used to declare these arrays as a two-dimensional arrays. Okay, they are going to use uh, the single dimension, the two-dimensional arrays to work on the matrices problems. What are matrices problems? Say the displaying and reading of the matrices, right? And then after reading and displaying, we want to manipulate the arrays. Suppose I want to find the sum of all the array elements, or suppose I want to find the maximum of the array elements, or I want to do the addition of the two matrices, multiplication of the two matrices, transpose of the two matrices, or finding the sum of the principal diagonal elements, right? So these are all the sum of the applications where we are going to use for the two-dimensional arrays. So when we want to declare a two-dimensional arrays, with this the two pair of square brackets must be present. One for the index, which is going to represent the rows, and the other is for the representation of the column. The first one always represent the row size, and second pair of square brackets store some value that always represent the column. Say for example, if you take 3 cross 3 matrices, that means the 3 rows and 3 columns, right? First, as I told, it represents the row. So say for example, mat of square bracket 3, okay, and another square bracket is mat of 3. Okay, what happens? 3 into 3 will be the 3 cross 3 matrices. Okay, suppose if I am going to give 2 3, that means 2 rows and 3 columns. So how to declare this? Square bracket 2 and square bracket 3. First one is for the representation of the rows, and second one is for the column representation. So 2 cross 3. Okay, then suppose I want to represent the 4 cross 3. 4 3. 4 is the number of rows and 3 is the number of columns, right? So we use the 4 cross 3 matrices. Okay, so that is how we are going to represent the two dimensional arrays and their respective applications. One dimensional array is sorting and searching, right? Two dimensional arrays is the representation of the matrices problems, right? And come to the three or multi-dimensional, more than two, we call it as a multi-dimensional arrays. And these multi-dimensional arrays are used for the CAD CAM designing, where we are going to represent the x-axis value, y-axis value, and the z-axis value. Okay, so that is going to use the that is going to use the CAD CAM designing under the uh, that is the x-axis value, y-axis value, and the z-axis value. Okay, so it is often necessary to store the value of one type into that is about the multi-dimensional arrays. Okay, so we have discussed arrays, array declaration. Okay, how we are going to assign the array variable name into the declaration, assigning the indices to a particular values, and the creation of the array with a new operator, then the assigning some constant values with the separator and the flower bracket, right? So these are all some of the mm, the array related operations. We can perform the many operations on arrays, right? So that is a declaration of an array. And operations means addition, subtraction, multiplication of the different matrices elements, right? We can perform the addition of all the array elements, right? And we can find the maximum and minimum values of the array elements, group of elements. Okay, and it is having the different kinds of arrays also, that is a one dimensional, two dimensional, multi-dimensional. So if it is one dimensional, then it will use a pair of brackets, right? And two dimensional, it is going to use a two pair of square brackets. Multi-dimensional means multi pair of square brackets, right? So if it is a three dimensional, then we will have the three pair of square brackets we are going to use. Okay, that is what about the we can, I can say that is about uh, the arrays, right? And applications also, as I told. Okay, single dimension arrays are used for searching and sorting, and two dimension arrays is for the uh, matrices problems, right? Transpose of a matrix, multiplication of a matrix, addition, subtraction of matrices, right? And adding all the elements of the matrices, right? Like that. And next one is that is about the two three dimension arrays or multi-dimension arrays, right? We know only till three dimensional, because when we want to design the software CAD CAM design, it requires the x-axis, y-axis, and the z-axis. So that is going to be represented with a three pair of square brackets, and we are going to represent that with the three pair of square brackets. And it is applications of the software CAD CAM designing software. Okay, that is that is about the uh, arrays. Okay.